And then that's how it kind of got into, because I was listening to some of your other podcasts. I was listening to the Josh Freese one, and he was talking about how I got into guns was through Buckethead, because I introduced Buckethead to Les and all that to bring him on the Ozfest. And Buckethead kind of came in to that thing because I had met Buckethead through Joe Gore, who was the editor of Guitar Player, said, dude, this guy sent me a video cassette of him just saying he can take out the Paul Schaefer in his band. So it's a video that he was just in his bedroom soloing, and he had some, Maximum Bob was his name, just yelling into the camera going, Paul, you need to get Buckethead to play guitar. And Bucket was just going, so he had turned me on to Bucket. I turned Bucket on to Bill Laswell, who said, Bill, you got to check out this guitar player. He wants to,
So had you met Bucket at that point?
Once. Yeah. Before Joe Gore brought him. And he was this kid from, what's that area right in between Claremont. He was from Claremont, California, never been to outside of it. He was in like San Francisco, and he was just this freaky dude who, he showed up in a mask and did his whole shtick the whole time, and then we hit it off.
You met him under that,
yeah. Yep. And
he had the mask.
Yeah, he had the mask. Did
he talk?
He was talking with a puppet. and then we just hit it off. I mean, yeah, that one got me. I don't know. Maybe we should just end it right there. There's nothing else to say, dude.
He's talking with a puppet.
Yeah, he has this puppet that he talks to. Oh shit! I can't take it. I mean, yeah. So, but I introduced Puppet. Sorry, man.
It's like a fucking sock on his hand. Okay. So Buckethead comes down. He's in full regalia. He's doing the full thing. He's talking via puppet. I could see that, though. I could see, clicking with the guy being like, this guy's all right. This guy's...
We just hit it off.
Yeah.
It was... We just... And Joe kind of just said, I think you guys will get along. I think you should play, So I was doing the Limbo Maniacs then, and I gave Bill Laswell this tape.
Right.
And he gave it to Bootsy Collins, and Bootsy just flipped out. So Bill made a band called Praxis,
right,
which was Bernie Worrell, Bootsy Collins, me, Afman Flip from the Jungle Brothers, and this guy Torture. And and we made that album.
That just, come on.
Yeah. Bill just had this thing with him and, and then Bootsy and,
But how does that even, how did you get, who started that again? Bootsy?
Bill, after I brought this cassette.
Okay, Bill Laswell was the ringleader. He just said...
He said, this guy's amazing and he's out of his mind. And the first time Bill met him was he had the mask on and the puppet. Because he would talk through the puppet.
He would do this even with Bernie Worrell and Bootsy.
Yes, and they loved it. The first time Bootsy met him, he had the mask on. I'll never forget it. We're at Greenpoint Studios in Brooklyn, New York. And at that point, there was a building on fire next door, and we all pulled up, and it was just chaos. And Bill's totally in that chaos, never dies, William Burroughs stuff. So it was just crazy. Bucket sitting there in his mask, with the puppet, talking to Bootsy, who's just going, "Yeah, man, yeah, I get it, I got it." And he's soloing and fucking got the puppet when he needs to go to the bathroom. He's asked what the puppet had. It's just gone. And I'm sitting there just going, what the, chaos never died, that's it.
Fucking bucket.
Yeah. And that's what he did. And
have you ever been to his home? Have you...
Buckets?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were best friends.
So I'm saying, you finally... What does it take to, get behind the mask?
He doesn't let too many people get behind the mask.
Yeah.
I would have to say, me and about 3 other people have been the only ones that have probably ever got behind the mask. On a true... Bucket and I, and, you know, I haven't seen him in a couple years because, you know, I just think that we just played each other out, if that makes any sense. We've been working together for 15 years in solo projects like Giant Robot we did together. We were in Guns together. He was like my best friend, my you know, just...
Yeah, sure,
I think we just played each other out, and I think we just kind of said, it's time, you know, Brain, you're doing this thing now. I'm going to go solo, do my thing. But I'd have to say he was one of... I mean, and still, I consider him one of my best friends. I mean, you know, he doesn't let too many people in. I mean, in Guns, the greatest thing was, you know, he would do the puppet thing, and what wore out the managers were that there's millions of dollars on the line, and they're talking to a fucking puppet. So finally, he just went MIA, and the only way to get a hold of him was through me. And it was kind of fun. I mean, at that point, I was kind of like, oh, okay, to get a hold of the main guy keeping it together, Slash's replacement was to go through me. Right. So I kind of felt like a big cock, you know, whatever. Just thinking, oh, okay, they got to go through me. This is cool, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You were acting as Bucket's manager in a sense?
Kind of, because that's how close we were, I was saying, is that we got along, you know, like, musically we got along, just everything, you know.
There's obviously a sense of humor there.
Yeah, it was like, he got off on that it wore everybody out, and that I was together enough to speak for him.
Did he give a fuck at all, or did he just not?
Yeah, he cared so much so that's I think was his protection. Was like, you know, I can't get worn out by this because I do care about this. It wasn't from a punk rock attitude. It was from a like I'm scared, you know, so I don't want to get worn out by these lawyers, and I have a talent here. I think he knew he had a talent that people wanted, so he would just wear them out with, you couldn't get a hold of him for like a month. We're going on tour. Is he coming? I don't know if he's going to show up. I think they actually like had people like undercover cops like checking him out at one time.
Right.
He said, he called me and he's all, Brain, there's a car out front. It's been there for like 3 days. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And this was before we were supposed to go on a major Guns N' Roses tour. I think they're wondering, like, if I'm going to come. Or like, we didn't know what's going on. And so he was paranoid and scared. So he said, okay, I'm going to go out there with a mask. And he had a hatchet. So he said he went out there with a mask and a hatchet and just stood next to the car, and he was just like this. Just stood next to the car.
Stood tall like a British guard outside Buckingham Palace.
With the mask, and and a hatchet, and they were just looking at him, and they just took off. So I think he was being followed. You know, I mean, he never found out the truth, but I think that's how paranoid, that's the game he was playing, because he was MIA for like a month sometimes.
Yeah.
Where's Bucket? No one knows where he's at.
And they'd always come to you.
Yeah.
Brain, you know, where is he? And, I don't know.
And I'd always know, and I'd just play like, you know, I mean, it was part of the game. I mean, I think that was the whole thing, you know.
Like he's almost like in wrestling, like parts unknown, right? Like he's that guy. Like we're not supposed to know, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's just the whole thing. I mean, and there was we were really close, you know, and yeah, I mean we had some wild, crazy times. I mean it was crazy, but he never swears. He doesn't drink, nothing.
Right.
He's as clean as, you know.
Right.
So it's just, I think, and oh man, I mean the letters that he would get from the lawyers and stuff, because he would just wear them out so much. You're never gonna work again. You'll be working at a gas station before you ever will pick up a guitar again, because he just, you know, it's like they would try to call him and it would just get, you know, like Looney Tunes would come on his answering machine, and you know, there's a huge tour coming on, and it would just be like the Haunted Mansion would come on. You know, he loved Disneyland. I think that's the first time he signed his contract with Axl at Disneyland.
He forced Axl to do that?
Yeah, I think Axl went to Disneyland and they signed on the Haunted Mansion. I think as he was on the ride, he signed the contract. You can't make this up.
Like he was doing the whole puppet thing with Axl?
Yeah, with everyone. Like every rehearsal, he had the mask on. No one ever saw him without it.
And Axl loved it.
Yeah,
He did, right?
I mean, yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
He must have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not love it? I mean, that was his. I mean, it was awesome. It was just the greatest.
Right.
Every time it was like,
Right.
what mask is he gonna walk in this time? You know, and he'd have a different one on, and you know whatever. And I got a picture of him just being swamped and rocking Rio coming off the bus, and he's just got like a Freddy Krueger mask on, and he's just signing. No one ever saw him.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. And then we would that was his thing. Yeah. It's pretty good.
I remember seeing some video of you guys. So like, and he's just like, and you come in behind the drums, and like you guys did something.
Oh yeah, that was my Brandon's made the worst
your
video.
thing.
Yeah. He was that was at
Is that your idea? Say that kind of setup, or is that him involved too?
That was on that one. That was him doing a favor for me. I was like, dude, can you do some crazy shit? Let's make some stupid shit. And I'm making this video for DW, and we called it "Brain has made the worst drum instructional" because it
which is
really
a great
was.
title, by the way.
Yeah. I mean,
way ahead of its time.
It was the worst, so we thought, let's just go with it. But yeah, Bucket did that. Oh, Prairie Sun. Because that's where we did that also. That's where we were recording. Yeah, that's where Tom had me go on that first time. Cause,
Prairie Princess.
Yeah, I went back there to do that stuff. And, but, I mean, we've been in here. We did a lot of Twisted Metal, which was a game for Sony. We had 3 or 4 tracks on there, and we did them here. Bucket was in here doing them, and, on that couch just soloing, and we'd watch, just horror flicks, put on horror flicks and just solo and jam and stuff like that. But, I mean, I think Axl and everyone loved it. I think Bill loved it. Axl loved it,
Axl didn't even care when the lawyers were pissed. He was like, fuck, he probably loved that.
I think he was doing, $1 billion deals and trying to build the Guns N' Roses hotel and stuff. I think it was just the chaos. It's just like another another thing.
So you were swept up in a machine at that point.
Yeah, the Guns thing was the first time. Like, joining Primus was the first time it was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a job, and it's not a bad job, but hey, we have to tour, and this is like you have to show up and you have to do stuff. It wasn't just I'll play in a band when I want, or sometimes I'll get a gig and I'll play some.